I'm oral historian Mike Chappell. Today, June 19th, 2010, I'm interviewing Dr. Ronald Swerdloff for the Endocrine Society at its annual meeting being held this year at the San Diego Convention Center. What led you in the mid-1990s to study the mechanisms that suppress sperm counts through programmed cell death?
Yeah, well, we didn't know. We knew that if we turned off the signals from the pituitary, that we would cause the sperm counts to disappear, to come to zero. But we didn't know why that happened. Did that happen because we turned off the production of sperm, or did it occur because we increased the programmed death of the germ cells? So we needed to study that. So we began by studying the normal regulation, the proliferation process, and discovered that programmed cell death of germ cells was a very highly structured process. And then we turned off the system and saw that this resulted in a massive increase in programmed cell death, which then led us to the question, well, how does it do it? And so we began to study the signaling pathways that are associated with apoptosis of the germ cells in the testis. And of course, people had been working on this in cancer. So there was a lot of leads, but the testis was different. And so we found that this was a mitochondrial regulated process. It was an intrinsic pathway type of defect. And then we did the tedious job of creating all the building blocks in the signaling pathway. And we're still in the process. Now, why are we doing this? We're doing this because we really want to know if we can find a testis-specific target. So that might be responsible for male infertility that we can turn on, or might be a specific target that we can turn off for male contraception and avoid having to go through the entire system from the hypothalamus and the pituitary, so we can do it quicker.
Would you sketch out the history of testosterone deficiency with aging in terms of etiology, diagnosis?
Yeah, so this then goes back to that longitudinal study where it was shown that testosterone begins to decline at about age 30 and declines progressively with time. And what the people at the National Institute of Aging then reported was that by the time you got to the 8th and 9th decades of life, that a high percentage of the individual had levels that were below the normal range for young, healthy adults. And so the question was then, how much of this decrease in testosterone is critical for healthy aging or lack of healthy aging? And so we wanted to know if testosterone replacement would be beneficial. We don't know the full answer to that yet, but we're presently doing a study that is headed by Peter Snyder at University of Pennsylvania. It's a multi-center study, and I have the good fortune of being one of the key investigators. And we're studying the effects of testosterone replacement on cognition, on vitality, on sexuality, on frailty, and on cardiovascular endpoints to see if we can create a more healthy aging. Realizing that older people, their greatest fear is losing their independence. If we could have a positive impact and delay the loss of independence, that would be a huge benefit to our increasingly older population.
Would you talk a little bit about the nature of your relationship with the Endocrine Society over the years?
Sure. The Endocrine Society, of course, is the intellectual home for most endocrinologists. The Endocrine Society is a place where information is conveyed from one person to a large number of individuals on a repeated type of basis. It's also an organization that provides an opportunity for communication at multiple levels, We create guidelines for practice. We create a teaching environment for our clinician colleagues. And it's a place where we can meet on a one-to-one basis. And my only real problem with these meetings is that there's so many people to talk to and so many things to listen to and so many people tugging on you that really the meetings need to be a month long instead of the 4 days that they usually are. So the Endocrine Society has been terrific, and I've had an opportunity to serve as program chairman in various ways, different types. I've served as the editor of the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism, and I've just learned a lot from having an opportunity to participate with the Endocrine Society. Not the least of which is the chance to talk to you and tell you about the things that I have done, would like to do, and hope will do in the future.